Okay.
Do I have to be on?
No. Okay, ladies. Happy New Year. I'm so glad to see your face. Some of us are actually here. I'm excited that we have monthly events on the calendar for this whole entire year and some of these trainings as well. So please be sure to make some suggestions on the trainings, that if there's something that you want some training on, we're happy to do that. We'll also have some time today to like problem solve and reach out and brainstorm some different things. And I'm hoping that you're all taking advantage of the 555 Reach Out Challenge. The details are on the Jen Griswold's team page. So if you're not on that page, let us know and we can add you to it. Just send me a Facebook message and I can add you. So Erica suggested that maybe the first training would be about Pulse. And so, you know, Pulse is really huge, but I thought we would just kind of simplify it as best as possible. And so I have some notes here that I'm going to be looking down at and just sort of going over. First of all, if you have an iPhone, there's a Pulse app. And so if you don't have that yet, go ahead and download that. If you search on the apps on iPhone, you can search Pulse Rodan & Fields app and find it. It's super handy. It allows you to access your preferred customer emails, what orders have processed in the month, also your own personal PSQV stats and your sales volume. And on the second page of Pulse, if you like scroll over to the right, you can also access links to show your prospects on the fly, the RF YouTube channel, digital product catalog, communications corner, your .com and your .biz site, and your solution tool. And at the top of Pulse, there's this little black tab at the very, very top that if you touch it, it comes down and it gives you your consultant ID. So once in a while, like they'll say, like, if you sign up a new consultant, we need to know their consultant ID. That's how you find that. So Pulse on the computer is basically the same, all of the same, but it's a little bit easier to see everything. So first of all, I'm going to go over the different tabs on Pulse on the computer. So first of all, there's the dashboard tab. So on the dashboard tab, there's links to Insider Scoop. I'm going to go ahead and find Pulse on my phone or on my computer, or I'm going to go on the internet and show you. I hope if you had an event today, you had a good turnout. We did. So if you use the internet on your phone, you can basically see what you see on your computer. So once you go to the computer and you click on check my pulse, you basically, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like a big fat white screen. But dashboard is the first tab. And under dashboard, just so you know, there's links to the Insider Scoop, which is communications from corporate. So you can go look at last, months or 2 months ago Insider Scoops. There's also a little, looks like a life tube raft, like if you're in the pool and you're drowning, where you get thrown. And so basically that is the getting started link. It's really great for new consultants, or for you helping new consultants starting. So it helps them develop their why and their short story, etc. And sometimes, that stuff takes a lot of time. And so that's a great resource for you. There's also a link to Lead the Way, so that you can log on and see how many Lead the Way points you have, how many Lead the Way points your team members have, so that you can help them. Sometimes I'll notice that, maybe Becky is, 1 PC order away from, 2 Lead the Way miles, and I might message her and let her know that. And there's also a link to the Communications Corner. And the Communications Corner is a fabulous little link that helps you Gives you templates for invites to Facebook events or personal invites that you can print out to invite people to your house, or that you can post on Facebook or Instagram or print out anything you want. And they're all corporate approved images, so you're super safe with that. The second tab on Pulse is Performance. And Performance is a great tab that I use all the time. And the main thing I use is Vital Signs, and it basically shows everybody's PSQV and sales volume statistics. And you can sort it by highest to lowest or lowest to highest. Hi. The other big thing we use is the AutoShip PC Perks report, and this is like pretty critical for everybody. If you have preferred customers and you want to know when their orders are coming up, this is a critical report. And what I found lately with new PC Perks changes is that I run it on the 21st of every month, and then I also run it again on the 1st, because everybody that I push out from the 1st to the 19th doesn't seem to show up when I print it on the 20th, but it'll show up again on the 1st. So I would suggest highly that you print it out twice a month, but you can also sort that based on the date of their preferred customer order, etc. The earnings statement is pretty handy, because I think in the beginning we all are kind of in that place where we have no clue how we earn money or how that all works out. And so you can kind of analyze like what returns happened and how that impacted your RF payday. Also, you know, how you're earning money, whether it's on your team members or whether it's on preferred customers. Ultimately, most of the money that you're making is on preferred customer volume, and so I highly recommend that, you know, try to increase that every single month. The Biz Development Library is the next tab. And I know I'm going through this really fast, but, you know, I could spend 5 hours doing this, but I think simple is better. There is a ton of resources in the Biz Development Library. I mean, there's PowerPoints on different products. You can download that and send that to people if they want to know like all about reverse and why does it work. There's clinical study results on all of the different regimens. There are probably the biggest thing that I use in the Biz Dev Library is the tear sheets. And in each regimen, there's a tear sheet. And I usually, if I'm giving somebody a sample of reverse or redefine or soothe or unblemish, I include a tear sheet with it. And it basically gives them like some details about that regimen. And you can personalize it with your information, your website, your phone number, and I just kind of include it in the bag. It sort of sticks out of the bag, and so it just makes it just look, I guess, more professional. In addition, on Impulse, the next tab over is Contacts, and Contacts will give you all of your preferred customer and consultants that are on your team, their email, their contact information, their phone number, so that if you just need to quickly email them or contact them, or maybe you're logging in to adjust their preferred customer order and push it out, it's a fast way to find their information. There's also an Events tab, and the Events tab is handy because it'll list all the events across the United States, Canada, and soon Australia. And you may not know anybody that lives in Montana or Nebraska or whatever, but if you just make a habit of looking at that Events tab, it'll kind of prompt you to think about, well, maybe I do know somebody that lives in New York or whatever. And so seeing the event there will help you kind of give you another reason to reach out to somebody and say, hey, there's an event in your area. I'd love for you to go check it out. I'm not sure if this is a good fit for you or not, but you know, I'd love to sign you up. Let me know what you're thinking. Sometimes it costs a little bit of money, like $10, but you don't have to be there. I mean, we don't expect you to fly to New York or Montana or whatever to host that. But often there's TeamGive people that can go and support you with that. And so let me know if you have somebody out of the area. I know that Tamara's daughter, I think, was just at an event down in San Diego and saw Romy talk, and so she was on a mission to finding out if anybody was on our team or Team Give. And so it's a great place to take prospects to, because they're doing all the work for you. You don't need to have it all figured out at all. You just have to basically get people there. At the top of the website, below where your name is, if you click on your name, you'll see a drop-down menu, and one of them, the tabs, is Communications Corner. I talked about it a little bit, and there's flyers and templates for VDLs and BizOps, and you can personalize it with all of your own information. And then there's also the RF Mall, and that has like Rhode Anfield swag, so like towels and mugs and pens and all sorts of things that don't count towards your CRP but are great conversation starters. And so definitely check that out, especially when summer comes around. I think those towels are a huge resource and conversation starter. So that's kind of the fast and nitty-gritty tour of Pulse. It's a really fabulous resource for you. We have a little bit of more time, probably like 16 minutes to problem solve. I'm not sure who else is online. I know a lot of you are going to be catching the replay. But we have some people here, so we'll just kind of open it up and see if you guys have any questions about whatever, anything, and I'm sure that will help anybody else. So, hi Kyle. So who of you guys here, who's doing the 5-5-5 challenge? Okay. So what's been the biggest struggle for that?
Documenting it all.
Have you noticed on our Team Blake page is the documentation? Can you edit it on the computer?
I have only gotten onto it on my phone.
Okay. You have been able to edit it on your phone?
Well, I didn't bother. It was a little bit confusing because I had to keep scrolling.
Okay.
And I saw like somebody had a bunch of information all posted, but it was like several pages over. And I was like, why did they skip all these columns? And I just didn't have time to sit and figure it out.
Okay. Okay, but you could enter info.
Yeah.
Okay,
From your
good.
phone.
Okay.
Have you noticed any kind of difference from, I know that myself personally, I've noticed a huge difference of outcome from my reach outs. Amazing, shocking, but so true. It works. Oh my God, it works. Have you noticed? Because I know sometimes it takes a little while. Like if you do a bunch of reach outs, you might think that it's supposed to come like that, but sometimes it takes a month or two.
I decided to take the route of not talking about RNF. Like I've been reaching out to these people for a year and they haven't responded to me, so now I'm just gonna like work on building my relationship with them again.
And they're responding?
Yes. Conversation galore. I can't hardly keep up with it. Yeah.
Good.
So.
Okay. Anybody else? Hi, Trish.
I've noticed the same thing. It's the relationship building, because I'm fairly new,
Mm-hmm.
so just kind of plugging along. And anytime I approach anybody about buying a product or becoming a consultant part of the business, they clam up and they don't want any part of it. And so it's just like, okay, I need to step back and build a relationship there more, and some trust or some whatever needs to happen. So get some results.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to remember that you only have control over what you do, and you don't have control over what other people do. And it's just really about timing for everybody. I mean, all of us in this room did not say yes on the first go round. I mean, it took me 6 months, took her over a year. I know it took you over a year and a half. I know you were a couple months.
I was fairly quick. I was
right.
a couple months, yeah. Well, the numbers.
6 months for you or so. And
$3.2 billion. That's what had me. I was like, yeah.
right. And so I think just trying to remember that it's not personal, and it's just really you can't control people, and it's just really about trying to figure out what's in it for them and communicate with them in a way that they can hear it.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely knowing your person, because I've been working on a few people with the, hey, how you doing? Just kind of getting back into the groove of talking with them on a regular basis. And then there's a few people I've gone after who I've been like, you would be fantastic at this. Like, they know me, I know them. And just rather than kind of do that whole back and forth thing, I've just reached out to them and been like, check it out. This is what I'm doing. Here's the numbers. I think you're going to be fantastic at this. And when I'm going after PCs, I found that the more breaking it in slower and kind of doing that. But when you're going after a consultant, you are going after someone that you think you can work well with. So a lot of times they're kind of like you, and being just like a throw it out there kind of girl, that's, been the people that I've been going to first. And so just by embracing that and knowing my audience has really helped me a lot in, going after consultants, because it's just like, my one gal, like I say, $3.2 billion a year in, the skincare industry, who does not want a piece of that pie? And that's coming from someone who is in construction, which is, however many hundreds of billions of dollars a year industry that one is. So you just got to know who you're talking to, and those people that need that warm and fuzzy feeling. Okay, you give them the warm and fuzzy, and your kids are cute, and now buy some product. You know what I'm saying. Right. But those that you can just say, check it out, girl. This is what's going on. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing, and I would love to work with you. And I think you'd be great at this. I mean, I've gotten more response to that than I ever did to trying to. And these are people that aren't even PCs. These are just ladies. I'm just racking my brain. Like, my whole thing is team building. So I'm like, okay, who do I, Becky says, pick those people you want to work with. So who do I want to work with? And that's really it's been a good response, and I'm getting a lot more back and forth than I ever was with, well, you like the products, right? How about coming and join my team? Really just the people you want on your team are go-getters. Most go-getters are not, are we live? Bullshitters. They're really not. They want the facts. They want it right there. So, if that's who you're talking to, then go that route. But if you're talking to someone that maybe your best friend from first grade, whom you haven't talked to in 25 years, well, yeah, you're not necessarily going to go that route. So, yeah, knowing your audience.
Well, I think one of the things we were talking about earlier that wasn't necessarily a part of this was that when you're talking about, I've been reading Romy's book, Get Over Your Damn Self, right? And I know we're going to be doing a book study on that, but one of the biggest things I was talking to Becky about this morning when we were on our run was she talked about how you can't, first of all, control what other people are thinking or doing. All you can really control is trying to give them what's in it for them. And throwing out that elephant in the room in the sense of, like, this may or may not be a good fit for you. I don't know. And that's okay. And when you really, truly in your gut and your core believe that, it takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off, like, let's do a conference call with my friend Becky or Jen or Shannon or whoever and see if it's a good fit for you, because she's a nurse, or she's retired, or she's a stay-at-home mom, or she's whatever. And she might be able to fill you in on how this might be a good fit for you. And I think once you really embrace that, it's not about getting people as a customer or a consultant. It's really about giving to people an opportunity of a business or create skincare. Then it doesn't really matter. And it just becomes about talking to a bunch of people. And that was kind of a huge epiphany that I've had before, and that you have it again. When you have kind of like you hear it again, you go, yeah, I learned that before, but I learned that again. But yeah. What else? I'm not sure how much time we have. We have 7 minutes. Anything else going on that's like troublesome or annoying or frustrating or awesome or, you know?
I had just, when you were talking about that whole analogy of like trying to get versus giving them, you know, ever try to pull a dog or a kid in a direction they're like digging their heels in versus like you offering something, they're like, ooh, what's that? You know, just that whole psychological
Dragging the dog to a bathtub versus
like giving them a treat, something, this is for you. So, you know, that just that responsive person.
Mhm. No, it's huge. It's hard to wrap your brain around it and really like believe it, but once you really believe it and it's in your core, then it's a relief, really, because you realize you can't fix control. Hey, will you share that? Will you show that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I made this little booklet. I was really looking, I'm a pen and paper girl. I did the planners and all that kind of fun stuff. And I found myself, you know, digging through my text messages and digging through my Facebook messages and trying to remember conversations and pieces of information because we don't always get everything right in the first, you know, one fell swoop, obviously. And then they put out the 555 challenge and the tracker sheet with all the little boxes on it. So I kind of took that and just kind of rolled off my own little thing. So if you guys can see this, I
Upside down and backwards, but that's
is
okay.
it, no, it's right side up. This is backwards because of the camera, I think. But so I had a little book made, right? And I just had it made down at the local print store, Horizon, here in Fortuna. And it has a place for their name, their address, their phone number, their email. There's spots on how did they initiate contact? Did you get them through a reach out? You know, how did you first initially contact them? Were they a referral and who they were from? In dealing with them, you know, there's like cold, warm, hot. Are they just a prospect? Have they become a PC? Are you looking at it for a C? There's all these little things to note down. You can note down what your current regimen, other favorite products, any notes you might have. And then here is a spot with all those little boxes for reach outs and follow-ups. And at first I was thinking, you know, R for reach out, F for follow-up. But then I thought, we'll just write the date in there. And then you know when you contacted them last, which has been pretty helpful for me. And at first I was just using them and I had all these random papers all over. And then I thought, oh, I would put it in a book. So I can make these for, you know, cost of about $7. We were thinking about putting a little logo, Team Believe, on the front there. So anybody's interested in this, I have the form in PDF. I can email the form if you just like some single sheets. If you're interested in getting a book put together, we can do that. You know, and I sell skincare, so I don't need to make any profit. So only $7.
I think I can make them for free.
Yeah, Jen's thinking she can make them for free. So we're going to see what we could do. But yeah, we just wanted to have, you know, some way to track it down. And the nice thing about it is that we can, if someone comes up with an idea of how we can change it or add to it, we can do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes, produce. So if anybody wants to do that, they can message me or Jen, Becky. Let us know if you're
Awesome.
interested.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So we are going to be doing these Zoom trainings monthly. And like I said in the beginning, topics are up for discussion. I think the next month we're looking at Lead the Way, but I'm flexible and open and willing to do whatever. So hopefully you guys are all on board with the 555 challenge. I know it's hard for those of us that work full time. I get it. 555 stands for 5 new, like Facebook contacts or Instagram contacts or LinkedIn contacts or whatever.
5 new friends.
5 new friends somehow. 5 new reach outs, like to new people, and then 5 follow-ups. And I totally get that that's difficult in a day. And so you can do what I do and kind of move them all into the weekend kind of thing. But ultimately, if, you know, one of the things I told Becky on my run this morning was that in the Romy's book, I read that, you know, if you're too busy and you keep saying you're too busy, it's really just not a priority. And so practice saying to yourself, it's just not a priority for me to do this. And when I said that and I read that, I didn't really like that. I didn't like saying it. I didn't like thinking it. And it sort of was a smack in the head. And we can always count on Romy for that, right? So anyway, needless to say, I'll be doing my, I'm behind like 3 days or something. So I'll be doing them today. So hopefully this is helpful for you. And hopefully if you had an event at your own place in your own time zone, that was good, and would love to hear feedback about that. And I'll post this on our Team Believe page. And so have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye, everybody.
Bye from 14.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah, that was great. Perfect.
Thanks for jumping in with no advance notice.
No problem. Anytime.
I would not have chose to sit right here.
I
know.
know.
Now I can't go through.